What's up, guys? It's 5 o'clock, and yo, what's up, Goob? Goob's on. First one on, right on. See? That's the way to do it. All right. I was just listening to the little bit of the new Deftones. You guys got to check that out, man. It's pretty sick. All right, today, check this out. You see this? This is the hankskerchiefs. Today we got a really cool guest that's going to come hang out for happy hour. He is an amazing actor, producer, director as well. Emmy Award nominee. And I hear he plays bass also, so musician. And I'm hoping to get him on here in just a little bit, as soon as he comes on. I'm looking for his name to pop on. We've seen him. Oh, there he is. Yo, come on. There we go. All right, you guys. We're bringing on Colin Hanks. Waiting for him. Like I said, actor, director, producer. Yo, there he is.
Yo!
Check it out.
Oh, dude.
You see these design? Everybody, look at this. This is some cool design. Look at that. Classic.
That's really the classic. Olivia. That's one of our biggest sellers, our most popular.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think because it's like the most traditional. When we first started, at least, it was sort of our most traditional one. And it's got the little gold piping border stitch at the end.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool.
But hold on one second. Hold on. I just gotta.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Nice. Yeah, that's how we start happy hour. I got the double stroke. You've got the black note.
I tried the double stroke the other night. I'm really liking this this black note. It is delicious.
Isn't it good?
How did you decide to get into cider?
No. This is your time.
Well, okay, but give me this one. Otherwise, it's just going to be a whole bunch of questions about like pork soda and shit like that. So give me cider.
All right. Shoot.
How were you a big cider aficionado?
Honestly, it comes down to the fact of, I'm sure with acting, or that whole business.
Yeah.
Producing, directing, acting, all of that is probably the same as music, which is we try to create music. I've got stuff here to make some music.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's great.
And sometimes it's not.
And sometimes it's not. So man, I'm just, me and my wife were sitting there trying to figure out, like, we should have a balance, something else that can really do something business wise, because I kind of am this artist. I never thought of myself that way, but then when you look at it on paper, it's like, God, I'm an artist. I don't like working jobs. I have to work for myself. I have to create. Like, I do paintings as well. I do these big, giant, abstract paintings, and that's when I'm happiest. So the cider came out of the idea that we've got to have something else going on, outside of music. And I made where we were living, we had some apple trees. I made some. We gave a bunch of apples away, and then I gave some to friends, and then I had a bunch left over, and I didn't know what to do. So
you had too many apples and you don't want them to go to waste. So what can you make with them?
Right. I felt bad. Like, what can we do with this? And then I discovered making cider. And I had already kind of discovered drinking cider. I mean, at this point, probably 10 years ago. But up to that point, no, I never really had cider.
Yeah.
I only really had wine. I didn't like beer.
Yeah.
I wasn't a hard alcohol drinker.
Yeah.
So when I discovered cider, I was like, oh wow, that's kind
Yeah.
of my thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, that's how we started, and we made some, and we liked it, and then I just started from getting the. My wife, we were sitting there drinking it, and she goes, "Oh, you should call it herb cider." And I thought, no, that's not cool, you know, that's not cool, you know. And but it kind of made sense. It kind of goes. The name Herb goes with the cider kind of thing. So,
Well, as someone whose initials are CH, the idea of being able to have more of any CH, I'm a big fan of. So I'm all in.
Oh, right on.
I'm
Where did you?
all
Well,
in.
holy crap! Where did you get that? Did we send you?
Yeah, you guys sent me these coasters,
some of those?
Which is funny because
Awesome.
actually I stole these coasters from a hotel in Sacramento simply because it had CH. So
Oh wow!
I now have a collection of CH coasters in which you have made it official.
That is very cool.
Yeah, it's
Wow!
pretty great.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well,
You know,
thank you.
it's so funny that you mentioned that though, because I mean, even just looking at like the artwork and stuff, and this is sort of the similar thing with me. You know, it took me forever to realize, you know, artists that may be a little bit too heady and serious, but it is very much true. Very much more a creative person than I am sort of the punctual, organized person, definitely.
Right.
And needing to have more of an outlet besides what I normally do, which is just, you know, wearing makeup and pretending to be other people, but then also needing to have something else that doesn't require someone calling me saying, okay, we're allowing you to do this thing that you want to do, which for acting is really sort of, that predominantly is how you do it. I mean, you've always got some of your own projects going in some state of creativity, and it took me a long time to get to that point where I could have projects of my own in some capacity. But even that was not enough. So
really,
sure, kerchiefs. Let's get into it. Let's start a kerchief company. You know, because graphic design was always something I was interested. Yeah.
I mean, the name, obviously you nailed it, you know?
I mean, there was no other real option. I had to. I absolutely had to. Considering that most people don't understand that the term is actually handkerchief.
Handkerchief, right.
Yeah. And the more and more I actually, like, you know, quite simply just like Googled this shit, the more and more I sort of understood like what the history of the kerchief actually is. And it's oddly kind of fascinating because when I grew up, they were always just handkerchiefs.
Right. I've always called them like bandanas, and I always wore these on my head, you know?
Yeah. And so my grandfather always had one in his back pocket, and he always used it as a snot rag and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And then out of habit, I would always have one, and it would be perfect for like putting around my neck when, you know, I'm outside, and of course I'm not wearing any sunscreen, and I'm trying not to be too much of a redneck. Yeah, and so I found that there was also this sort of, you know, fashion component as well. And so I started doing all this sort of research and like the difference between bandanas and kerchiefs. So technically bandanas sort of originated out of like Asia, and they were much larger pieces of fabric that were designed to protect you from the sun, essentially. So you could wrap your head around it, you could wrap it around your shoulders. It was a much larger piece of cloth. And then as Western influences came in, you know, eventually, you know, there was a point where there was no thing called there wasn't facial tissue or Kleenex, you know, it was all cloth.
Right.
And the West, you know, the Brits, if you will, whatever, the Europeans, they had small pieces of cloth that they could put in, you know, their suits, and they could blow their nose in, and those were traditional handkerchiefs. And over time, they kind of morphed into a smaller yet similar thing, which is basically what we now know as a bandana, a handkerchief, whatever, you know, that sort of 20 by 21 sort of thing that you can fit around your head, around your neck, or in your back pocket. So
okay,
there's your weird history lesson for the day.
no, I like that. That's really that's interesting, man.
It was crazy.
Wow. And so, gosh, you actually carried one around? Like, I've carried one sometimes, you know, but it's mainly when I've been, whatever, had a cold or something. But you actually carried it around and used it for function.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, especially, you know, when I was younger, like when I was a kid, not so much, but when I was younger and sort of moved out of the house and, you know, was primarily doing like my clothes shopping at like Army Navy surplus stores and stuff like that. Okay. They were always on sale right by, you know, the cash register, and they're you know, pretty cheap. So I would just grab some kind of out of habit, and I would just always carry it. And it ended up just sort of being an everyday carry for me. And I ended up using it so much more than I thought I would. You know, if something was wet, I had something I can, you know, clean it real quick. If something was too hot, I could use that. There are just all of these sort of everyday things. Opening bathroom doors, that ended up becoming a big thing.
Oh, so man,
I just found all of these little everyday uses that you would never really think of. I mean, we're all thinking about these things a little bit more, you know, now.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
But I just realized that they were so much more. You can utilize them in so many different ways.
Yeah, I'm feeling this. Like, it's actually keeping me pretty warm just around the neck.
Yeah, it's super comfortable.
What do you know about, I mean, this is a good bridge into obviously, I'm sure everyone knows your dad got COVID.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this? Like, is this effective?
Yeah, so any face mask is better than no face mask. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like that most definitely is the most important thing. So at that, you know, if you just folded it into a triangle and wore it like that, that's acceptable. It's not
2 layers. This is 2 layers right here.
It's 2 layers. So that kind of works in a pinch, and you can get away with doing that. You can also fold them. We put this up on the website, and it was sort of a big deal back in April. But with hair ties, you can actually kind of fold it into a mask so that you can put the hair ties around your ears, and it will cover more of your face.
Oh, wow.
And that has more levels. That's better. You know, the more levels, the better. But then you have breathing issues and stuff like that.
Right,
you know, it gets a little bit more challenging. But you know, it's not the best thing in the world. You know, it's not better than a mask by any means.
Yeah.
It's not better by, you know, any sort of PPE that you might have, but it's better than nothing. And I've been using it a lot. And we also have these great. We ended up sort of coming up with these great little leather cinches, and it's basically just a little piece of leather, and it's got a little hole in it, and that way you just thread your 2 parts of the bandana in. Or kerchief, I should say.
Okay, yeah.
And then that way you don't have to tie it. You can just have it ready to go. And then you can just pull it like that.
Oh,
and it's so much easier.
That's perfect.
So you're not needing to like constantly tie it and get it right, or, oh, that's too tight.
Right.
And these have been really helpful, you know, when you're out trying to run errands and you're wanting to be responsible.
So are you making those?
Yeah, we sell them on the hankskerchiefs website.
Well, yeah, let me show everyone real quick. Go to everybody watching, check out the hankskerchiefs.com.
Yeah.
And he sent me some, and look at these. This is the packaging, really cool.
Yeah. So that green one there, that green one that you got there, that's one of our brand new ones. The Stanley.
Oh, sorry. This is the green one.
And well, yeah, that's I sent you that because that's our Washington
right on.
That celebrates all the national parks. That was a collaboration we did with our friends over at a Parks Project.
Oh, cool. I like that. I haven't opened this one because I saw this and I was like, oh, that's
Well, yeah, that's the one. But yeah,
love that.
we sent you the Washington one, and then we sent you two of our new ones, the Stanley, which we just released, which is the white and sort of greener one, and then that black one that we sent, we haven't released yet, but
That's got scorpions on it
yeah,
and the skull.
that one's going to be coming out in October.
Oh, that's
I
very
gave you
cool.
the special shit, Tim.
And this is a
I didn't
nice.
stick you.
I
And then
like
that
this.
one's the Samantha. That's another one of our originals.
Yeah, that's a nice one. It's kind of a classic look.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much for these, man.
Yeah,
These are
man.
great.
Thank you for the cider. You actually kind of got me intrigued on cider. I had never really been.
No joke, man. This is way back. I mean, this is what they drank because Apple storage back in
The olden days.
yeah, you're talking as long as people have been eating apples, you know, there's no way to store them because they didn't have refrigeration.
Yeah.
So one way to do it was to eat them. The other way was to smash them up into a liquid.
Yeah.
And from what I know, here's the hard thing. I don't think there's like an official history book on cider. So there's a lot of grabbing from all over the place. And some of the stories talk about how the fermentation process, taking the apples that are full of water, they're you know, and just you ferment them just like wine. That water that's in a grape, it's fermented, and the alcohol kills everything in it.
Yeah.
E. coli, everything. Nothing can live in that environment.
Oh, man.
And now you've got clean water with alcohol in it. And if it had a ton of sugar in it, then it's got a lot of alcohol. But if you had an apple that wasn't very sweet and you fermented it, put yeast in it, and it fermented, or just let it naturally ferment out in the air using the yeast in the air, then you could get your water purified through this.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, this is a very, very old, just like your handkerchiefs. Ciders and handkerchief go hand in hand, man.
Yeah, they do.
Because when those guys put on their thing and they went down to the pub, you know, in Scotland and England or Ireland, and cider's a very big drink over there. And then those people came to America. They brought cider with them, you know.
Unbelievable.
Cider making.
Unreal.
And then, of course, beer came into the play.
It kind of took everything over.
Yeah, and Prohibition came into play where, from what I've read, they were literally knocking down orchards, cutting apple trees down to the ground, nothing. And there were some that were left, and mainly thinking, well, we've got to have apples to feed, but they were literally killing orchards, you know?
Wow. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, afraid of the alcohol.
Unbelievable.
But,
unreal.
Yeah, but that's the kind of the cider thing. So yeah, cider, everybody, cider and handkerchiefs, get it.
There you go, hand in hand.
It's cool. And so I'm drinking this is Herb's Happy Hour, and obviously Herb Cider is my cider company. Hankskerchiefs is Colin's company he's got going. And go to herbcider.com, get some cider delivered straight to your house. You don't have to leave. Don't have to do anything. Same with your handkerchiefs, right? Order online, sent right to your place.
Yeah.
There's no real size issues, right?
No, I mean, we've got a couple of different versions. We've got our standard kerchief, and then we've got a proper handkerchief size, which is a little smaller.
Oh, okay.
That's 10 by 10. And then we also have something called Hounds kerchiefs, which is just a triangle. So it's a little bit lighter fabric so that you can put it on your dogs if you want.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So, you know, a little. I can't stop with the plays on words. I can't stop with the puns. So it's like Hounds kerchiefs. Sure, let's do it.
Right.
Gotta do it.
Okay. Well, They're really cool, man. Thank you.
No, thanks,
And
man.
everybody checking it out. Yeah, you guys should check out the stuff. They're really awesome.
I appreciate it.
So yeah, like, so when we do happy hours, I've seen you pop on a few. I've seen the name come up a couple times on the little scrolling stuff.
Yeah, in fact, you did one with with Stephen Perkins.
Right.
And he's my neighbor.
What?
Yeah, he's my neighbor. So
wow.
I saw that Perk was on, so I like popped in real quick because I didn't know that you were doing these, and I watched it, and I just loved watching the two of you geek out and talk. So I think that's and I think I came in like 2 or 3 times because you guys were talking for a while, so my name probably popped up a few times.
Oh, is it? Yeah. See, I've never sat and watched a live thing on here.
Yeah.
And so I noticed like sometimes there's 20 people, 61 people like now. And so is that what's going on? People are like watching, then they go off and do something. And
sometimes, yeah. I mean, the thing that I always find that's super funny, and this happens to me quite a bit, is I'll be on the gram and I'll go to like press something at the top of the screen, and in between me making the movement, someone has gone live. And next thing I know, I've pressed join, and I'm the first person on their Instagram live.
They're like, oh, wow, he's a fan. All right.
It turns into this weird, like, almost like Seinfeld, like, well, I can't leave right now. Like, I have to wait.
Right. They know like who you are, too.
Yeah, it's a party faux pas. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, Colin Hanks showed up, and then he split right away, and then like 2 more people showed up after him. So I kind of like, then feel like I got to wait a little while, get a few more people to come in.
Right.
But I dig that you sort of do these happy hours and talk. So when you asked, I was super excited.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Yeah. Just so everyone knows, I've seen him. So just briefly, I know I've seen you a few times at some of our shows or like a event or something, festival or something. But I don't think we've ever really sat and hung out at all.
No. We met briefly in Dallas at one of I think it was a Primus show, but I think it was like around like the Cheesy Singles album or something like that. It was you hadn't played with them in a while.
Oh wow, that's like, gosh.
Well, yeah, it was a long time ago.
Almost 18 years ago, probably.
Yeah, it's weird how long ago that now is.
Wow.
But okay. But yeah, that was when we had first met. Because I've actually known Les for a long time, since like the early 90s.
All right, that's through Mira, right?
Through his sister-in-law Mira. Yeah, his sister-in-law worked at Playtone, which is my dad's production company.
Okay, right.
And she worked on That Thing You Do. And when we were working on That Thing You Do, I was an office PA. I worked pretty much every job you could for that entire movie.
Really?
And, yeah.
That's so funny. We watched that. God, I want to say like maybe 3 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It holds up. It's
really
still
good.
It's still a good movie. Yeah, it's still a really good movie. And so
story.
I got to know Mira really well, and then she found out that I was like a huge Primus fan, and so she's like, "Well, I have to blow your mind here." So it was on the Punch Bowl tour. I went and saw you guys in Los Angeles.
Oh wow, that long ago.
Yeah, and that was when I first initially met Les, and then I went to the New Year's Eve Freak Out that year. And got to know him a little bit better. So I've had a relationship with him for a long time. But we didn't meet until that one tour. But I remember us talking a lot about your time in Blue Man Group and masks and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I remember us actually having like a real conversation, which is rare in those sort of like pre and post show environments.
Yeah.
But it was also one of those scenarios where there was really like no one else there. So it's just like, oh, well, we're all just hanging around and talking. Oh, well, this is nice. And that was really sort of the only time that we've ever, really sort of chatted. So,
gosh dang. Well, I'm an idiot for not remembering that.
oh God, please, are you kidding me? The amount
God.
of people musicians meet, and actors too. I never
Same thing,
expect them to remember anything.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
It is weird, man.
But
I okay. Let me. I want. I don't know. I've got questions for you. Maybe this would be cool for people, but
lay 'em on me.
Well, first off, I really loved your part in Fargo.
Oh, right on.
So that was really cool.
Thank you.
When you do something like that, I always wonder, because from people looking in and watching, it seems like your role, the way you look, the way you come across, is entirely up to someone else, right?
Yeah, very much so.
So you're trusting everything you do, you're trusting into the director, right? Is he the one that's in charge?
Right. Yeah. Writer, director. I mean, it's one of those really strange things that actors know instinctively, but I think often sort of gets overlooked. You know, there's a tremendous amount of sort of trust in any artistic endeavor. And a lot of times, you know, there will be actors that will be cast in something and there'll be a component to a scene or whatever that maybe they're not comfortable with. Maybe it hits a little too close to home. Maybe it's making fun of them a little too much. You know, there are all sorts of different, you know, components of that. And with something like Fargo, the real reason why I loved it, I mean, never mind the fact that the script was so good and it was so different from anything else that I had read, was that it played to a specific kind of, Gus was a specific kind of character that I had actually been trying to get away from a long time, that sort of put upon, unsure, quiet, kind of like meek guy.
Yeah, like super nice guy.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Hurt
you know,
fly, but
I've got, you know, a lot of people say like, you know, I've got that look, and I most definitely do. But that, to constantly always get that is kind of like draining at times, and you always want to try and find something new and do something different.
Right.
But the fact that that particular role, he was self-aware of that fact, and he hated it about himself. That was something that was really rare. And to have a character have that self-awareness and have that be part of the story,
right?
That was so new and so different that sort of made it all worthwhile, because that was then the new thing that I could sort of explore and play with. Right. You know, I came up in the era where, you know, it was a bunch of teen comedies and, you know, a kid fucks a pie. Do you know what I mean? And so I didn't want to do a bunch of roles that I would feel like would make me super embarrassed or would play into any specific stereotype too much.
Yeah, but how do you get around that? I mean, okay, let me guess here. I'm assuming you have to audition, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For sure.
So they want to see what you look like, when they're thinking of their character, like how you come across, right?
Yeah, for sure. So like in this scenario,
I mean, you kind of don't really want to sit and have to pick and choose, right?
No.
I mean, you don't have the ability to.
I don't. I'm waiting for somebody to go and do that. Do you know what I mean? So in this scenario, who wrote the television series and adapted it from the Coen brothers film, he had a very specific kind of character that he had in mind. And so basically he saw a type, and he saw a bunch of actors that are known for playing that type, in which I was just one of many. And for whatever reason, I was the one that he sort of, you know, clued in on because of something I did, you know, in the audition. What that is, I don't really know. I mean, the only thing I remember about the audition is I went in and I told them that I had prepared an accent, because it was they asked for that. And I told them, I said, look, I've prepared an accent that's somewhere between Chicago and Canada, eh? And if I get the role, I promise I'll whittle it down to Minnesota. And that was like, you know, you want to have like one good thing to be memorable, you know, and, you know, you hope it's something that you do in your acting, but you also throw a few extra things out just in case, a little extra lifelines. But there was something in there that he liked, that he felt like, that's the guy.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it? Was it a specific scene?
I'm trying to remember what the scenes were. I remember there was definitely the scene.
This is for the audition, right?
This is for the audition, yeah.
Okay,
I remember.
Okay. So
definitely,
they had a few.
Definitely the scene in which he's talking to his captain, telling him that he essentially made a horrible mistake. I remember that scene. I don't think the scene where Gus pulls over Malvo that was in the first episode, I don't think that would have been in there. It might have been. I'm not sure.
That's when the guy gives you a chance to leave, right? To go home to your daughter. And
yeah. And that scene is actually super crazy. So I'll tell you a story about
it. Really is, man. That's a good one.
Yeah, no, I mean, that when you read that scene, you're like, I want to be in this just for that scene. But I'll tell you a little bit of a nightmare of a story. So, you know, when we shoot anything really, we're shooting out of order. You know, we're shooting
right.
You know, the beginning of the thing in the morning and the end of the thing in the afternoon and a bunch of stuff in the middle. Everything is shot out of order. And when we first our first block of shooting, we shot the first 2 episodes concurrently at the same time. And we had a night shoot on a Friday. And it was a little bit of an odd one because we were starting on the stages and then we were going to do a full location move, right? So everybody's got to put everything back on the fucking trucks and move to a different location, unload all that stuff to do that sequence of me in the cruiser and then walking up, having pulled over Billy Bob and have that whole exchange. And I'm looking at the call sheet and I go, they've got a lot of stuff on the stage in the morning. They're not going to get to all of that before lunch and then do a full company move. So, something's not right here. And I was starting to get kind of nervous. And the first AD was like, don't worry. We're going to do it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And sure enough, got to, you know, not even before lunch, the first AD says, okay, so we're having an issue. Here's what we need to do. We're going to shoot Billy Bob's side of the scene on the stage. We're going to bring his car in and we're going to shoot all of his side of the scene. But we're not going to be able to shoot your side of the scene. We're going to have to do that the following Friday. And I can't remember if he told me at this particular moment or if I discovered it later, but what ended up happening was we shot Billy Bob's side. So I was able to act with him and see everything that he was doing. And he's incredible in that scene. I mean, Billy Bob Thornton is incredible in everything.
Yeah.
But he gave his performance. So I knew what he did. And then a week later, we shot my side of the scene, but Billy Bob couldn't be there because he had a scheduling conflict and he had to be out of Calgary where we were shooting. And so my scene with Billy Bob is basically shot a week apart, and I am remembering what it is that he did. And at first I was interacting with his stand-in, who was a very sweet guy.
Right.
But he didn't know that this was his responsibility to do his lines. So he didn't memorize the lines. And unfortunately he was kind of doing a little bit of a Sling Blade accent. And then
that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and then at one point the script supervisor, who's in charge of all the lines and keeping track of everyone's movements, she was reading it, but she kind of read it a little bit like this because she's over by the video village, so it doesn't have a lot of the danger component. So it got to the point where I just said, just give me a tennis ball and let me just emote at that.
What?
And try and just give you all the beats that I remember from his big sort of monologue. And I'll give you the dialogue, and we'll just sort of do it like that. Because we really we didn't have any options. And it was like, you know, it's one of those weird moments where you kind of want to be pissed off, but that's not going to accomplish anything.
Yeah, you got to deal with what's brought to you. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to deal with what you got. And then I kind of like just hoped that the director was cool with that. And he goes, yeah, I mean, I feel horrible, but I mean, let's try it. And it just sort of kind of worked. But that only worked because A, Billy Bob was as good as he was.
Right.
And B, because the scene was as good as it was. If it was a horrible scene, it would have sucked and you would have known and something would have been off. And I would be hating it to this day.
Right. Like he was so powerful that it's stuck in your mind, everything he did, right?
Yeah.
So you could still use it a week later.
And the scene was so well written that it was just like this amazing safety net. And so I just said, I'll throw a bunch of different shit at you. And 80% of it is probably going to be too much or too bad or whatever. But hopefully there'll be something good in there. And they were able to edit it together. And I think it's a good scene. You know, if you're going to be in one scene,
it's really good.
That's a good scene to be in.
It really, yeah, man. I don't know the words, but it just really says a lot about you, that character, when he's having to decide, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. People, if you haven't seen Fargo, we were actually on tour, and our manager Brad had it on his computer.
Brad Sands.
Yeah. So Brad had it, and he's like, we start getting into it, and then that's, yeah, like you said, one of the first ones.
What's funny, I remember Les texting me going like, "Hey, little whippersnapper, this is good." It's like, this one's actually good.
Yeah, it's really good. Everybody.
He's been privy to some of the bad stuff.
So here you are doing Fargo, but if you go way back, like, were you watching your dad doing movies and stuff when you were
Yeah, I mean, I've been around for the whole arc.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he tells me a story that I used to go with him when I was a little kid to go cash his unemployment checks at the chemical bank in Times Square.
Wow.
Which ended up becoming a Bubba Gump Shrimp Co., by the way.
Oh, how? Whoa.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But so I've been around and witnessed to the whole thing from the very beginning to now. So I was around, you know, there was a period there where I was around quite a bit when I was a kid. But it was really more just because it was a fun environment to be around and tons of people. And, you know, I'd work craft service and stuff like that and find ways to entertain myself and just sort of hanging around a film set. Because a lot of it is, you know, there's a lot of work involved, but a majority of it is hanging around.
Yeah, that's what it's like on tour too, man.
Yeah.
We get to play for an hour and a half, 2.5 sometimes. But then the rest of the time is all waiting and traveling.
Exactly. And so I got used to the hang of just being on film sets. So I was definitely around for a good chunk. And then, you know, by you know, this sort of late 90s, I would say, I was just sort of like, yeah, no, I'd much rather go see my friends.
Oh yeah.
do whatever I want.
Well, what got you into the business? Like, what was it that you were like, okay, let me try this?
Well, it was definitely something that, you know, just being privy to it and around it so much, there was a component of, it would be fun to be able to do that. That looks fun. That looks like something that I'd enjoy doing. And I would do it, you know, I did the school plays and stuff like that in middle school and high school, and really had a good time doing that and sort of becoming, you know, having that sort of theater experience and sort of falling in love with performance.
Okay.
And then, you know, by the time I got to university, to college, you know, I wasn't necessarily the best student, but I still would do some of the plays and do that. And that was when I sort of realized that I had a passion for it, that I couldn't really see myself doing anything else. In fact, the other week, someone asked me, they said, you know, did you ever want to like do something else? And there was a period where I wanted to be a musician. Like I played in bands in high school and in college, but I was such a music fanatic and loved so many different kinds of music. I knew that A, I wasn't that good.
Oh, really?
And B, I wouldn't be able to like stick to one specific kind of, you know, genre or vibe or whatever. But with acting, you could kind of do whatever. You could do comedy, you can do drama. You could there was no sort of rules there. And so I sort of said, I feel like I'm a much better actor than I am a musician. And so I chose that. And at that point, really, you know, the old man kind of said like, okay, well, look, as your dad, I just want you to be happy, you know, with the path that you choose. Right. That's the most important thing. As an actor, I think you can do it. I think you have the chops to be able to do it.
Yeah, you really do.
But you got to really want to do it. And that was really, you know, the only question that I really had to answer myself.
Yeah, go through all the crap.
Yeah. And I didn't really even know how much crap, you know, you think you know what crap you're going to be dealing with. But the truth is, you have absolutely zero fucking clue. You know,
right.
That sort of dumb young sort of like, oh, it won't be that bad. It won't be that hard. No, it is.
Yeah,
it can be soul crushing at times and nerve wracking, and that never really goes away.
Yeah, but I don't think people really understand it. I know a lot of people just probably sit and look at you like, oh, it's all been just, you know, handed to you because your dad was who your dad was.
Yeah.
And it's, I know in that business especially, you know, that doesn't get you through when you're the one on the screen, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter what goes on in your life outside of that. You've got to be able to pull it together.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, you really do, man. I've watched you, and you really got some skill.
Oh, thanks, man.
Only thing is, sometimes you sound like your dad.
I know. Well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing I can do about science, man.
I heard that. I was like, oh my God, that sounds just like
we all do. I sort of have like my pat line where someone goes like, oh man, you look and sound so much like him. I say that is patently untrue. I'm younger and much better looking. So.
Yeah, way better looking. Totally.
But you know, I mean, it got to the point where, especially like with the acting and stuff like that, like I really loved it and it was really something I enjoyed doing. But it was so, you know, there would be long periods where there would just not be anything there, and so it took a while for me to sort of find sort of other creative outlets that were still in the same sort of sandbox, but just a different part. Right. And so that's how sort of like all of the doc stuff sort of came to be, doing music docs and things like that.
Yeah, so I don't know about these. I just happened to, you know, I was checking it out, and you did a Tower Records one. That's amazing, because that was like, that was like central to so many people's lives.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that was the one that really sort of got me on the whole thing. You know,
this is out now, right?
Yeah, it's been out for about like 5 years now. It's called
Oh my God,
Must Pass.
I'm way out of it.
Oh, dude, I'll send it to you.
It's on Netflix, right, or something?
Yeah, it's on like Apple and
Amazon,
I can get it on
stuff
Apple like that.
Oh, I'll get it on Apple. I'll watch it.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
But that was one where, you know, I was such a music freak growing up. You know, I didn't have like a sweet tooth. I would spend all my money on music.
Yeah.
And so Tower Records started in my hometown of Sacramento. That's where I grew up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Sacramento and then went around a lot with my parents. And then when they split up, my mom moved back to Sacramento. My dad stayed here in Southern California, and so I would sort of go, commute between the two. But I spent the school year and a majority of my time in Sacramento. And that's where Tower was based. My godmother worked there for years, and I spent a lot of my money.
Me too,
in Tower. In fact, I specifically remember I bought my first Primus record at the 16th and Broadway store when they still had the long boxes. When they had the cardboard long boxes.
Right.
Because I would very carefully open up the long box and then take the X-Acto knife so that I could create little posters, and I would put the tape on and put them on my walls and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I would spend all my money at Tower and then eventually a bunch of other record stores. And so I had recently moved to New York, and I was sort of struggling and not really getting a bunch of acting work and needed an outlet. And it was like 2006, and the stores had all closed. And someone had reminded me about Russ Solomon and how Tower started. He started selling U-78s out of his father's drugstore. And I just went, that's a documentary. Start there, and with 100 plus stores around the world.
Right.
That seems like a good time. So I spent the better part of around 7 years working on that first doc.
Wow. So yeah, I have not seen it, so I wasn't even aware of that.
Well, we'll have another conversation at some point. Maybe not on Instagram Live, and I'll pick your brain about it. I would love to hear your Tower record stories.
So that's your. Are you producer on that, or
that one I directed. So I directed that. I've directed a bunch of other like short form documentaries, some sports related, some not. And then I did another feature documentary about the buddies of mine that are in the Eagles of Death Metal and their experience dealing with the Bataclan and all that stuff that happened in Paris in 2015.
Yeah.
The doc stuff has been this really great sort of, it's just part of the sandbox where I get to be more creative and have a little bit more control and come up with ideas, and I get to work with the camera and come up with camera angles and stuff like that. It's all just different itches, that I get to scratch, which is nice. It's not too dissimilar from painting. Right. It's this whole other way of being creative and trying to convey an emotion, a theme, whatever. But it's without any of the tools that I'm accustomed to. It's a whole new set of tools. So it's a whole new way of like shutting out the world and being able to focus on, okay, how can I get this done? I don't have the tools to use it, to do it on my own. So, I bring in other people, and it's been really like a blessing to be able to be fortunate enough to be able to exercise that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And this, just real quick, we're running low on time. I got a lot of stuff here I was wanting to ask you.
All right, let's go. I'll stop yapping.
No, that's
lightning
what I want. But I just noticed this Elvis Nixon thing. What the hell?
So I played a small part in a movie called Elvis and Nixon. And Michael Shannon plays Elvis, and Kevin Spacey played Nixon. And I played this guy, Bud Krogh, who worked in the White House for Nixon. And he was one of the guys that sort of helped facilitate that photo, which is the most requested photograph in the National Archives, apparently.
Wow. Because wasn't that meeting a secret? I remember reading that Elvis you don't tell anybody.
He thought he was being super secretive because he wanted to become like a DEA agent, although the DEA didn't exist at that time, but he wanted to go undercover because he was, you know, good with the kids, I guess. I don't know. And
wow,
you know,
really?
yeah. It's a trip of a story, and it's actually it's a pretty enjoyable. It's a funny movie. Johnny Knoxville is also in it, which is, you know, just hilarious, and
Right. Okay.
it's some really good performances.
So it is a comedy.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And when does that come out?
Though that came out
Jesus,
2 years ago. You've been busy making cider, man.
Man, no, I don't know, man. I mean, sure, because of COVID now, I'm in front of freaking Netflix all the time.
Yeah.
At night, but usually I am out. I usually don't watch it enough. I don't watch that much stuff.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
I'm really not. I'm just kind of not a
TV.
A little bit out of it.
Absolutely. That one's on Amazon. You can find that on Amazon.
Okay. Well, there's another one, everybody. We got to watch. Elvis,
there you go.
Man, that's going to be cool. Well, what are you doing right then? What's your latest?
Right now, I basically, because like film production has essentially like it shut down for a good like 5 months.
Right.
I've just basically been spending time developing a couple of different projects. I've been developing a couple of different concepts for a TV series, as well as a feature script, like a movie. And so basically just kind of like working with other writers, trying to come up with, you know, some interesting stories and, you know, going about pitching that to various like studios and networks and all that sort of stuff, doing that sort of boring water bottle tour, going out trying to convince people to give you large sums of money to make your your art.
Right. And when they do that, I mean, it's an investment on their end, right? It's
oh, absolutely.
It's like they might lose it, they might not, but it doesn't come back to you as, oh, you owe them all this money.
Oh, no. It's not like that. I mean, it's very different from the audition process for sure, but in a way, it is kind of similar because you've got to sell them on an idea. And, you know, they've kind of maybe looked at it once. They kind of maybe have some interest in it. And you got to try and present them with a version of, you know, what it is that you want to do. And, you know, you try and do the homework ahead of time to find out if that is the place that is looking for something like what you have. Do you know what I mean? Like, are they interested in a 30-minute, you know, comedy, or are they interested in an hour-long drama? You know, you try and find the places that are looking for specific things.
Okay.
And then it's just kind of up to them, up to what, you know, the other projects that they have going on, you know, whatever their big ideas are, or if they, you know, really love it, or if they go, oh God, no. You know, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. That's interesting, man. Yeah. I'm seeing some people on here wanting to know about your brand. So we did that. We talked about hankskerchiefs from the very beginning. This is one I'm wearing right here. So everybody, be sure go to hankskerchiefs.com. This is a really cool one right here. Look at that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hankskerchiefs.
Yeah, man. He's got a few really cool designs.
.com.
So yeah. And did I see something about some charity involved in this, or?
Yeah. So
what is it?
So a portion of every sale goes to a charity. We pick 4 different charities throughout the course of a year, and each charity gets 3 months, and we basically donate a portion of each sale to a different charity. And the idea behind that is, you know, it's one thing to be aware of, you know, one specific charity that things are going to, but most people kind of only know like 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to be able to do something so that over time, part of our, you know, our DNA would be, you know, the charity component of giving back, but also being able to amplify a bunch of different charities, so that, you know, if you were stumbling upon the website and you see the charity page, all of a sudden you could be introduced to all of these different charities that who knows if you would be, you know, looking for. So it's this idea of just being able to sort of help amplify a bunch of good causes. You know, a lot of them are ones that are important to me. We did, when we launched, it was for fire relief 2 years ago. I think we're going to have to do some more fire relief, unfortunately, again.
Oh yeah,
with this season, but we've also done stuff with like building homes for vets, and, you know, getting kids in war-torn areas medical attention and drinking water and things like that. So we've done a bunch of different kinds of stuff, and, you know, we're always looking for other charities in mind.
Yeah, there's a question here. Do you have a favorite?
A favorite charity?
Sorry, a favorite handkerchief is what.
The Sophie's Choice. No, I don't really have a favorite.
Yeah.
You know, but if
they're all super cool.
They're all my favorites. But
yeah,
you know, they're all named after people or pets that that I care about. And so the one you're wearing, that's the Olivia. That's named after one of my kids.
Oh, right.
And then I've got another one called the Charlotte, named after my other one.
Okay. Two girls?
And then 2 girls.
Okay.
And then the other red one that you have, that's the Samantha. That's named after my wife.
Okay.
And then this one, the new one, the Stanley, that's named after my new dog.
Nice.
As well as my 2 other dogs that I had. One that's no longer with us, and the other one that's sleeping somewhere.
Yeah.
So we try and just name them after people I care about.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on and drinking some cider.
Yeah, man.
And talking about all this stuff. It's really cool. And yeah, there's a lot we could get into, but we've been doing this Instagram live thing, as you know, and it's an hour. So
dude,
about to cut us off here.
No worries. We've been, you know, part of a good happy hour is, you know, it coming to an end at some point. They all have to. That way you can start charging a little bit more. So
all things, as you say, all things must pass.
All things must pass. Exactly.
Is that the name of the?
That's the name of the Tower documentary. Yeah.
Okay.
All things must pass. Just think of the George Harrison song.
George Harrison, right? Yeah.
You'll be good to go. Yeah. You'll see how that fits in. But thanks so much for having me, man. It's been a real treat getting to talk with you.
Oh, it's so cool, man. I'm glad. And just so everyone knows, I sent him a message on Instagram. It was like, hey, I see you come on to watch this. If you ever want to come on, let me know. And it took a little while, but you did see it. So
yeah, I did
cool
see it.
That you do kind of look at those.
I did. I did. I was able to catch it. It's a mess in there. That DM. It's a mess, but I was able to see it, and I'm glad that I was, because it's been really cool.
Really cool. Let people hear a little more about what you're doing, and it's really awesome.
Well, thanks, man.
And I hope you guys stay safe, and people get out there, get some of these you can use when you need a mask.
Yeah.
Or just look really nice. I like this, man. This is really.
It looks good on you, man. It looks good.
Gonna be cool. For sure.
All right, dude. Well, listen, absolute pleasure, and I hope we get to do it again. Soon, man.
Yeah, if I see you pop on, maybe I'll hit you up. Come say hi, see what's up.
Sounds good, dude.
Hey, take care.
You too, Tim. Thanks so much.
All right.
Be well. Bye, everybody.
See ya. All right, everyone. Colin Hanks there. Thanks for hanging out. Be sure and go to hankskerchiefs. I know it's backwards. Yeah, I know. Talk to Instagram. hankskerchiefs. He's got a really cool sign off I wanted to mention. He talks about it real quick, and then at the end he says, all the best and none of the rest. Signed, Colin Hanks. I love that. Really cool. All the best and none of the rest. So everyone out there, all the best and none of the rest. Go to herbcider.com too. Get some cider sent to you if you're into having a little relaxing drink after your hard day of teaching the kids at home, this might ease a little bit. All right, y'all. Take care. Next Friday, hopefully, if all goes well, that's the plan. We should be doing this again. And I'll talk to you soon. All right. See ya.